Yeah. Hey, 8 minutes. What? I told you on 26th. That's when the real preseason starts. I told you, and I don't want to hear any excuses because throughout many preseasons, people have always been coming up with new excuses, and the biggest excuses is just it's preseason, it's friendly. I don't know, a lot of things. Now, Liverpool fans, you all wanted to get a lot of praises when you beat Stoke 5-0. At that point, you did not consider that it was just pre-season and Stoke were taking it as a friendly. You did not consider that every other team that has played, Spurs, Man United, Arsenal, they have all been taking all these games as friendlies. You were pumped up, and even before the start of the game, I was seeing Liverpool TV and they were analyzing and stating how good the team is, how complete the team is. And I was also part of that. I had seen the names, I'd seen the recent history, I'd seen a lot of things happening. I'd seen you overspend every other team. I've seen you go beyond the record, like signing record. And I was so worried. I was so worried because I thought you'll be going with this Premier League very quickly. I was so worried. I thought Liverpool is going to take this thing as quick as possible. Like at the 30th game, you'll already have done this thing. Like we will just be playing 4-4 like we did last season. But I was also worried, and every time I've made a video that had Liverpool and I was talking about Liverpool and I was telling everybody that that was a club squad and it's an old squad and it's a squad that is past its prime. Like after every game you could see they were the energy was finished. Like they should have followed Klopp when Klopp was saying that I don't have enough energy. Like a lot of those people in the squad will have said they don't have enough energy and just exit and leave Liverpool for new blood. But it has taken for you too long. You are not Madrid. You are not ruthless with players. You have to, take care of players. Like, I don't know, like you are not ruthless with people who don't play the way they should. You are always making excuses for people. You have been making excuses for Salah when he's not performing. You have been making excuses for Van Dijk. And it was good last year because every other team was not performing well and you won the league. But I knew it was just about time you start suffering. It was just about time. And probably I'm mistaken, but this time I think I'm right. I've done a lot of watches for football. I've seen a lot of friendlies. Last year I saw all the friendlies with Chelsea. And I knew that something there was wrong, even when they were beating a lot of teams in the first like 20 games or 15 games. I knew based on those friendlies, like some people are not ready, some people were playing beyond their capability, that like they couldn't keep that thing going. And I knew at some point they're going to suffer. And not just me, Maresca knew at some point the team is going to suffer. Like people who are serious, people who have been watching football for so long, people who have been analyzing football for so long, they knew. If you look at the friendlies, it's not just about performance, because that's the only time when players are really free to express themselves. And when players are free to express themselves, you can see their best qualities. That is what usually happens. Like during preseason and during friendlies, that's when these players usually don't rely mostly on the manager's tactics, the manager's motivation, the fans, ambition, uh, the table, how other teams are playing. This is the only time that people usually play with utmost freedom. And when players play with utmost freedom, that's when you see their best qualities. That's when you see them doing whatever they do. That's when you see side steps. That's when you see people doing, like massive dribbling, massive shooting. And you could see even in this game, you could see. And we were not just seeing qualities for certain players. We are also seeing other players, the qualities or the vices. Is it really the vices, the qualities, or what's the negative side of quality that we are going to see next season? Now, I'm going to point it slow by slow. I'm going to take this thing like it's detailed. It's, pinpointed. We are starting with Salah. Salah is massively unmotivated. And it's not just this season. It's not just this game. It's just that I was waiting to say this, but I just needed to find a game to use because you guys were winning the Premier League and were scoring a lot of goals and, like winning games. So it was hard for people to point. When the team is performing, you can't just go and say like you are not performing. When the team is performing, you just wait. You sit down and wait until when the team starts losing. That's when you start pointing the mistakes. Salah is unmotivated from last season, and I think this window was supposed to be the window that is sold to Saudi Arabia or MLS. If it was Real Madrid, I'm so sure in this window, if you had people who are watching the games last season, this is the window that we should have sold him. But if we go back, I think Klopp had realized that his team was growing old. They had done a lot. They had won the Champions League. They had won the Premier League. And they were running on fumes. And he started like facing the team off, like slowly by slowly, like selling Firmino, trying to sell money. And it was just, after they won, especially after they won the Premier League, the first Premier League, they were, player power was creeping in and everybody wanted to be praised. Everybody wanted to do their own thing. They stopped giving a lot of passes. They stopped playing for each other, and Klopp wanted to change it, but it was a working team. It was a good first 11 that was so young, like at their prime. So he started like removing small person to feel to seem like he's correcting, like to seem like balancing the power, balancing the play, selling money, removing a person one by one, Matip. It was Ronaldo. Is like balancing, like ensuring that if there is power, it should come from one place. And for a longer period, the power was coming from Salah, and to a small extent Van Dijk. But Van Dijk was a grown person, just doing his thing. But I think in his last season, he realized that, and there were so many issues, he realized that to continue keeping this team together, either Salah will have to be sold or they need a new coach. And I don't think Probably it was not his entire idea that he should move out. It was just that it was the cheapest idea for Liverpool for him to move out, as opposed to selling all these players and trying to correct everything. Now, when Ancelotti came, as much as he won the Premier League, he knew. I think he was bright enough to notice that he needed to change this team as quickly as possible. And I think that's why they're making a lot of signings. Like this team, but the midfield, like Alisson has to go. Van Dijk is past his prime. Like if it's not just this the first goal. Like he has always been retracting. When a person comes, when an attacker comes, he's always retracting, like waiting for Alisson to save the day. Sometimes he gets it right, sometimes it does not. But even when it does not, it's not his mistake. He has not been dribbled. So his name gets to be hailed. Hail King Van Dijk, the greatest defender in Premier League. But that bubble is going to end this season, because I think it doesn't have people to take. It doesn't have a lot of guys, like especially if Konate goes. If Konate goes, I don't think they have another CB who is capable of covering his mistakes. And Alisson, I don't think is very motivated to keep saving Liverpool. So they'll be conceding a lot. And in front, that's not the only problem. In front, Salah will not be scoring more than 15 goals. And I can bet on it. Next season is not scoring more than 15 goals. Probably just score 12 or 10. Then all these other guys, I don't know how much they will score, but I think a scenario where you have the first attacker getting 12 goals and then the rest getting 6, Gakpo 6, Szoboszlai 4 or 5. Who's the other one? Nunes is going, obviously. Weeds 4. And that's it. Like Weeds is the second game and he's just playing basic. Like right now, I think he has completed 90 minutes. 90 minutes of basic, average Liverpool midfield performance. Like, he's not playing better than Jones. So for 100, you've got another Jones. Unless he decides to do anything special. But I think for the 2 games that he has played, free games, all friendly. One, they score 5-0. The second one, they lose 4-2. If you are an attacking midfielder who has 45 minutes in one game and 45 minutes in one game, we should be able to create a highlight of you doing from those 2 games. We should be those are 90 minutes. We should be able to create something, even for 1 minute, even for 2 minutes, that if somebody comes here and you show him the video, he'll say like, oh, this is a 100 million player. If you are playing like Havertz on your first game, if you are playing like even Caicedo, when he played the first game, he was playing so well until he got a red. Enzo like really showed his first game. Like a lot of players who are world class, you can, if they play 2 games, you'll be able to create, a highlight of the player from those 2 games. But with, I don't think you can do that. Now, I know People don't want to hear this, but Liverpool are in a point where we call a transition period. They are transitioning from a team that was high performance, but it has grown old, it has grown unmotivated, and it has to be phased out. Man City had the same, and even Pep, and I've noticed that Pep is a very bright guy. He's a very intelligent guy. Like every time when the performance of the team was going down, he did not resign, but what he did was to get a new assistant, because he knew, like, probably, and I talked it in the last video, he said that Pep ideas are the same. Like, there's nothing new he can bring in. And probably a lot of people have been telling him, oh, he's an intelligent guy, he knows that at some point I've tried everything and it's not working. Instead of me stepping out, probably I should just get new assistant. And that's what he did. But that's just the coaching staff. Now, with the player staff, you'll realize that when Man City was going into that change, you will see De Bruyne just unmotivated, not playing the way he does. Hi Ryan. Like, you'll see a lot of, yeah, I'm good. You will see when Man City was going through that period, that transition period, like a lot of players, like people like De Bruyne were very unmotivated. People like Gundogan were not, even Gundogan asked to be, to be sold. Like, a lot of players were going through that period. And I think even with Liverpool, certain players who have won a lot of things, 2 Premier League, FA, Champions League, I think they don't have anything else to fight. Like, what are they fighting? What are they fighting for? What is Salah fighting for? If he had to get the Ballon d'Or, he should have gotten it in, I think, 2018. Was it 2018 or 2017? When he was scoring every other game. I don't think right now he's thinking that he needs to perform to get a Ballon d'Or. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to give the same output. And that's why I think for Liverpool, they still need somebody to score. And probably it's the reason why they are still trying to sign Isak. It's because they realize that even for those people, even Ekitike and everybody that are going to sign, they're not going to give the same output as Salah. They need somebody who will be closer at Salah's output. Like, they need somebody who will be able to give 20 goals for them to maintain, the performance compared to last season, compared to the other previous season. And it makes sense. I think that makes sense. Because the performance today, you will see that if Salah does not score, it's so hard for anybody to score. They have to depend on the midfielders. And if you're depending on midfielders every other week, then you should not expect to score 2-3 goals. It will end like 1-0. If it goes to 2-1, 2-0, like, the team should be performing at 100% to get like 3-0 or a lot of scores. And it has happened for several teams. Even for us, at some point, we are depending so much on midfielders to score. Like, at some point, every other scorer was either Jorginho or a defender heading the ball or Reece James, because the strikers were not giving the same output. And when you do that, or when you have a team where the only people who can score are midfielders and defenders, then you forget winning the league. the only best position you can be is fight for top 4. That's it. Now, on other transfers. Now, two teams, Man United and Chelsea, they want Donnarumma. Donnarumma looks like he's heading out of PSG, and he's heading this transfer season, or this transfer is not typical. It's not a typical Henrik goalkeeper, because it is not. And I'm just wondering, if he's not an Henrik type goalkeeper, and then he can't be a Maresca type goalkeeper, because those are two coaches who usually like for their goalkeeper to use his feet a lot. So if Henrik needs a goalkeeper that likes to use his feet a lot, then probably Donnarumma will have the same problem with Chelsea, because Chelsea, even why a lot of people think Sanchez is not working, it's not on like short stopping, it's not on just playing a traditional keeper role. It's on, handling pressure, passing, which Donnarumma still has the same problem, just probably a little better than Sanchez, but still has the same problem, has the same. A lot of people are criticizing him for the same. But if he's going out of PSG now, Man United are interested, Chelsea are interested. Man United probably will land him, but I don't know if he's going to play in Man United, and Man United does not have any European. They're not in any European trophy next season. Like, I think that's one problem that the team is facing right now. Like, they can't attract people that wants to play for Champions League. They can't attract people that wants to play top level European trophy. That's why they are taking people from mid-table teams. I think that's why their biggest signing right now, the two biggest signing, are from Brentford and Wolves. They can't get a signing from, a player from a team that is playing in Champions League. Even I think that's why Nicolas doesn't want to go there. And that's why I think it will be hard for them to convince Donnarumma, unless they decide to break their bank. Now, other players who are refusing money. Isak is refusing a whole lot of money from Al Hilal. He still wants to play in Europe. If he's getting out of Newcastle, then the only team, I don't think, will the highest Liverpool, the highest guy that Liverpool is paying, Liverpool highest salary, I think, they're paying, of course they are paying Mo Salah a lot of money, so they can afford Isak. It will not ruin their, a lot of teams usually have this excuse of it will ruin their pay package for other players. Now, because Liverpool is paying, I think Mo Salah 400, I think Wiz 300, I think Van Dijk 350 or something. So they can pay for Isak, whatever Isak wants. So that's what has been happening since yesterday. Today we still have another friendly Spurs versus, what's the team? I'm forgetting. But I think it's not a team that used to gauge. But then the next friendly will be on 28th. I think Arsenal is facing a team on 28th. And it's just 2 weeks until Chelsea starts their preseason. They'll have 2 games in pre-season. Man City will also be playing on 30th, I think. There are a bunch of teams that are playing tomorrow, Premier League teams, which are important. But today we also have a lot of Premier League teams. Spurs is one of them. The other ones, why am I forgetting them? But we have like three Premier League teams in pre-season friendlies. Anyway, that has been my time. So if you are here, thank you. Subscribe, share, and let's meet tomorrow for any more news, for any new news, or any news. News is always new. Either way, thank you. And Ryan, always supporting, always commenting, always giving his sense. A good day.